Remember when Thanksgiving meant TV dinners and canned cranberry sauce? In 1960, that was the norm for many American families. But fast forward to 1990, and you might not even recognize the holiday. From microwave turkeys to international side dishes, Thanksgiving underwent a massive transformation in just 30 years. Picture this. It's 1960, and the smell of a TV dinner fills the air. The tables set with aluminum trays, each compartment neatly filled with turkey, mashed potatoes, and a dollop of cranberry sauce. This was Thanksgiving for many American families, a far cry from the Norman Rockwell painting hanging on the wall. Sure, some homes still had the big roast turkey and homemade pies, but convenience was king in the 60s. Canned cranberry sauce? It wasn't just popular, it was a cultural icon. That satisfying schlorp, as it slid out of the can, became as much a part of Thanksgiving as the turkey itself. Why? Because it was easy, consistent, and hey, it even looked fancy with those ridges from the can. But here's something you might not know. This love for convenience foods in the 60s had roots in wartime rationing. During World War II, families got used to canned and processed foods. By the 60s, these weren't just necessities. They were trusted friends in the kitchen. TV dinners were the stars of this convenience revolution. Introduced in the 50s, they hit their stride in the 60s. And guess what? They changed more than just what we ate. Family dynamics shifted too. Now, Mom wasn't stuck in the kitchen all day. The kids could help by simply popping trays in the oven. And Dad, well, he could watch the game without feeling guilty about Mom's hard work. But as we munched on our perfectly portioned meals, change was already cooking. Julia Child had just hit the airwaves, whipping up French cuisine in American kitchens. Health food stores were popping up in cities. And in trendy restaurants, chefs were experimenting with new flavors and techniques. Remember when Thanksgiving prep took all day? By 1990, some families were whipping up entire feasts in just a few hours. What sparked this culinary revolution? And more importantly, how did it change the very essence of our most cherished food holiday? Fast forward to 1990, and the Thanksgiving table looked like a mix of old and new. The classic roast turkey was still there, but now it had some interesting company. Cranberry salsa? Anyone? Or how about some Thai-inspired turkey? These weren't your grandma's recipes, that's for sure. The microwave was the real game changer. Can you believe that by 1990, a whopping 75% of American homes had one? Compare that to 1960 when practically no one owned this magical box. Suddenly, Thanksgiving prep didn't mean being chained to the stove all day. You could zap a side dish in minutes or even, gasp, cook an entire turkey in there. But here's where things get interesting. While one part of America embraced this convenience, another part was going in the opposite direction. Enter Martha Stewart and her army of cooking show hosts. They weren't about to let you serve a microwaved feast. Oh no. They were all about gourmet techniques, fancy table settings, and dishes that looked like they belonged in a magazine. So there you had it, convenience and gourmet aspirations duking it out on the Thanksgiving table. One minute you're nuking the sweet potatoes, the next you're trying to make Martha's perfect pie crust from scratch. Talk about kitchen whiplash. And let's not forget about the flavors. The 90s were when Thanksgiving started to get a little worldly. Specialty food stores popped up everywhere, offering spices and ingredients most Americans had never heard of before. Suddenly, your uncle's famous stuffing might have a hint of curry, or the green beans could be tossed with soy sauce instead of cream of mushroom soup. While the Macy's parade marched on, a new tradition was taking hold in living rooms across America. Remember that Friends Thanksgiving episode where Monica puts a turkey on her head? It wasn't just comedy gold, it was a mirror reflecting the changing face of Thanksgiving in the 90s. Let's rewind to the 60s for a moment. Picture that Norman Rockwell painting. Grandparents, parents, kids, all gathered around a perfectly set table. It was the ideal many families aspired to, even if reality often fell short. Fast forward to 1990, and that picture had gotten a serious makeover. By 1990, The average American family had shrunk from nearly 4 members to just over 3. But those empty chairs weren't staying vacant. Friends, neighbors, and even co-workers were filling them up. Friendsgiving became a thing, with groups of pals gathering for turkey and trimmings, often in addition to traditional family meals. Why the change? Well, rising divorce rates played a big part. Blended families became more common, bringing step-siblings and half-siblings to the table. And as more people moved away from their hometowns for work or school, friends became the new family for many. TV shows like Friends and Seinfeld didn't just reflect these changes, they shaped our expectations. Suddenly, a chaotic Thanksgiving with a mishmash of people seemed not just normal, but fun. Who wouldn't want to celebrate like Rachel, Monica, and the gang? But it wasn't all about friends taking over. Many families embraced a the more the merrier approach, inviting neighbors, co-workers, or anyone who might be alone for the holiday. Thanksgiving tables grew more diverse, not just in terms of who was sitting there, but in the foods being served. Your mom's green bean casserole might now be sharing space with your neighbor's tamales or your co-worker's latkes. While technology was poised to revolutionize our connections, it had already transformed our Thanksgiving entertainment. From parades to pigskins, our Turkey Day viewing habits underwent a massive shift between 1960 and 1990. But here's the kicker. The biggest change wasn't what we watched, but how we watched it. Ready to discover the game-changing development that gave us control over our holiday viewing? Back in 1960, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was the star of the show. Can you believe only 10 million people tuned in to watch those giant balloons float down the streets of New York? It was a big deal, though. Families would gather around their black and white TVs, sipping hot cocoa and pointing out their favorite characters. The parade was more than just entertainment. It was a cherished tradition that marked the official start of the holiday season. But by 1990, a new player had entered the game, literally. Football became a Thanksgiving staple, with families across America settling in to watch the big games after the turkey was carved. The Macy's parade was still going strong, but now it had to share the spotlight. In fact, parade viewership had tripled to a whopping 30 million by 1990. Talk about a touchdown for holiday entertainment. Now, you might be wondering how we managed to watch both the parade and the big game. Enter the real MVP of 90s Thanksgiving, the VCR. This nifty device let us record one show while watching another. No more family fights over the remote. Mom could watch the parade live while Dad recorded the game for later. It was a holiday miracle. But wait, there's more. The 90s also brought us a new Thanksgiving tradition, the holiday TV episode. Shows like Friends and Seinfeld served up special Thanksgiving episodes that became must-see TV. These sitcoms didn't just make us laugh, they shaped our expectations of what Thanksgiving should look like. Suddenly, spending the holiday with friends seemed just as appealing as gathering with family. As we flipped channels between the parade, football, and our favorite sitcoms, we were part of a bigger change. TV wasn't just something we watched anymore, it was becoming an interactive experience. We could pause, rewind, and create our own holiday viewing schedules. Little did we know, this was just the beginning of how technology would reshape our Thanksgiving celebrations. ROM TV dinners to VCRs, from Norman Rockwell to Friends, Thanksgiving transformed dramatically in just 30 years. These changes weren't just about what we ate or watched. They reflected broader shifts in American society, technology, and family life. As we look back on these changes, we can't help but wonder, what will Thanksgiving look like 30 years from now? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, it'll be a feast for the eyes as well as the stomach.